let's end with some Don Jr. This is short and stupid, just like he is. He's back in the ski lodge. These assholes have like a house that looks like a set for everything. They have the golf place and then the ski lodge looking place. Like they hop around all over. It's very odd. It's very strange. Let's find out.
This about China.
Hold on, guys. Well, China sure is acting suspicious. Okay, here we go.
Well, guys, did you see this about China?
Well, guys, did you see this about China?
Something we should all be watching because the Biden administration has been nothing but weak. I don't know if it has to do with the Hunter stuff or whatever it is. Doesn't matter.
Nothing but weak when they've formed a nuclear submarine alliance with Australia and the UK to create nuclear-powered submarines for the first time in that region of the world so that they can, like, park them, basically, off the coast of China.
China state media says the country must prepare for nuclear war with the U.S. because finally, after months and over a year of asking about it, and the media saying, no, we have no interest, the U.S. is saying, we may have to ask for a probe into the origins of COVID. Remember?
So us asking for this is why China is going to expand their nuclear arsenal in case they have war with the U.S., okay?
A year ago, there's no way it originated in the Wuhan Virology Institute laboratory. It originated 2 feet outside of that, miraculously because someone ate a bat. Remember when that was the most plausible argument? But now China state media says they must prepare for nuclear war because we actually asked to actually probe the...
That's weird. We actually asked to actually probe? You mean the Biden administration is asking for to get into their... What? And your dad didn't. They didn't make these kind of threats when your dad was president. That's weird. So you're admitting your dad didn't actually ask to actually...
For nuclear war, because we actually asked to actually probe the origins of this virus.
So we actually asked to actually ask to add to actually to probe the origins of the virus. So, and by the way, it's pronounced oranges. So you're saying the Biden administration is actually trying to get to the bottom of this? And your dad didn't? Curious.
You know, think about this.
Yeah?
Hey, did you guys accidentally release a virus from your lab? Enough! Time for nuclear war!
Is that what they said? Is that how it went? His father was the president for 4 years, and this is what he took away from how meetings go.
What we must do, because you know what screams innocent of releasing a virus? Meaning they...
What screams innocent of releasing a virus? She's too ugly for me to have sex with? I mean, that's what your dad does when he releases a virus. I'm just saying.
Didn't do it. You know what tells me you didn't do it? Transparency, saying, sure, we'd love to get to the bottom of this with you guys. We'd love to figure it out. You know what screams to me? Yeah, we definitely did this, whether by accident or on purpose, but we did this, saying...
Well, if it was accidental, obviously your dad thought they were handling the accident very well, and even when he knew they weren't, he lied incessantly about it. And that if they did it on purpose, your dad was president during the largest bioweapon attack against the United States in the history of the country, and it killed over 500,000 people in its first wave, and he rewarded the country that attacked us by selling them the largest order of beef, corn, and soybeans they've ever gotten. I'm just saying Chamberlain would be jealous.
You're going to do a probe to figure out how a virus that killed millions of people originated?
Yeah, that's what the Biden administration has chosen to do. Your dad didn't do that. Yeah, weird.
Nuclear war. Time to up our arsenal. Okay. That's what's happening right now, guys.
Is that what's happening?
China state media says the country must prepare for nuclear war with the U.S. because we asked for a COVID probe into the origins.
Wait, sorry, who was we? Who's we again? Because I know your dad's not president anymore. So who would we be in this? Oh, you mean the Biden administration?
virus that affected millions of people around the world and shut down the globe?
Hype train on Twitch. Thanks, guys. By the way, don't forget to like and subscribe. Give a thumbs up. Hey.
If that's their reason to prep for nuclear war, you think they're being good players, guys? You think they're being honest dealers? China never has been, and they
Don't say dealer. It's a dead giveaway.
never will be. Okay? Trump was on to them, and the media did whatever they could to hurt
Trump was on to them. Well, then why didn't he put forward a probe like this last year? Like around the election, late in the year?
Trump. Seems like he was right on just about everything these days. Okay? But you see what's going on?
Was he? Was he right about them handling this very professionally and that the cases would go from 14 to nothing and there's like one lady who's sort of sick, but it'll be fine, and I don't want to bring that cruise ship full of Americans to port because I don't want to add 68 cases to my numbers because that'll make me look bad. No?
They're hacking pipelines, foreign adversaries. They're hacking, our slaughterhouses and meat processing facilities.
Are they? Well, that's why the Biden administration put together a ransomware task force and why it's paid off and why you've got three of the major, let's see, where is it? Three? Hold on. I'll have to grab this and there you go. Ransomware groups call it quits. Just to clarify. Okay, yeah. Diabolical ransomware gang calls it quits. A flurry of ransomware gangs, a flurry of them, multiple, have been slinking away from public view in recent weeks. Recent weeks? When was this? During the Trump administration? It must have been published August 27th, 2021. Oh. Curious that. Just as in the Marvel Universe, a ransomware group that goes by the name Ragnarok caused catastrophic harm and ended in a snap. Ragnarok, a hacking gang that's locked victims out of their computers and extorted them since 2019. Wait, who was president then? It's been so long I forget. Guys. Suddenly appears to have called it quits. The group shared a free tool Thursday that will help previous victims unlock their files and gain access to their computers again. They split and they let people back into their computers. Huh. It's not clear why Ragnarok is abandoning its pivoting ways, but the apparent decision to self-destruct is a move that other ransomware gangs have been adopting as well. Ragnarok is the fifth ransomware operator that's appeared to backtrack on its previous grift following increased international attention to ransomware hacking. Ziggy, ransomware hackers as well as Abaddon, Synac, and Phonix hacking groups have also retreated from their ransomware hacking. Wait. The uptick in hackers backing down in recent months is somewhat unorthodox. While it's not unprecedented for gangs to do this, it's certainly unusual for so many to have done it. I suspect the exits are due to increased attention from law enforcement. Put simply, they got cold feet. In its statement about withdrawal, Ziggy explicitly declared that their intention of backing down was to avoid law enforcement crackdowns and repercussions, according to an earlier interview with Bleeping Computer. Let's see, here you go. Other ransomware gangs in recent years have been working to avoid the watchful eye of law enforcement and world powers as well. Several gangs that drew the attention of President Joe Biden following their attacks that led to shutdowns on the Colonial Pipeline, a massive fuel supplier across the East Coast, and meat supplier JBS have gone dark. Revil, the gang behind the JBS attack, has since mysteriously disappeared from the internet. And DarkSide, the gang behind the Colonial Pipeline incident, also announced it was backing down. Let's see. Of course, sorry, then retiring, blah, blah, blah. Let's see. COVID-19 for Ragnarok, not a U-turn. Rochester chief security firm McAfee told Daily Beast a difficult conclusion. Broadly speaking, it's positive that there's one less ransomware group to contend with. It's imperative not to lose sight of the fact that there are many other threat groups out there causing damage across the globe. Let's see. Where and why would those folks be all of a sudden afraid? Let's see. Biden ransomware task force. It's not like people could look this up, you know. Let's see. That was August 17th, right? This is July. This is a month earlier. It took a whole month. White House announces ransomware task force, and hacking back is one option. The administration is promoting efforts to help agencies go on defense and offense against hackers whose economically paralyzing attacks pose a growing threat to the United States. The Biden administration is unleashing a range of options to stem the growing ransomware threat, a senior administration official said, including offering rewards as high as $10 million for helping identify the perpetrators. Other options on the table include launching disruptive cyber attacks on hacker gangs, as well as developing partnerships with businesses to speed up the sharing of information about ransomware infections. White House has formed a previously cross-government task force coordinating a series of defensive and offensive measures against ransomware. Oh, that's funny. A couple months ago, the actions follow a series of high-profile hacks. With the task force oversight, federal agencies are taking action such as promoting digital resilience among critical infrastructure companies, working to halt ransomware payments made through cryptocurrency platforms, and coordinating activities with U.S. allies, according to the Senate aide who requested anonymity to speak candidly. Biden delivers a warning to Putin over ransomware. We'll all remember that statement. There you go. So, guys, who thought that up? Sorry, who? And is there any reason why the Trump administration couldn't have put a ransomware task force in place? No? Because all this shit was happening last year, too, and the year before that.
Because you notice how this stuff didn't happen really under Trump?
It didn't? It didn't? Huh. Let's see. It didn't really happen under Trump, besides the fact that we will obviously look at some of these things. Let's see. Ransomware attack 2020. Whoops. The 11 biggest ransomware attacks of 2020 so far, because this was written somewhere else. Okay. Municipal governments, universities, and private businesses have spent more than 144 million responding to the biggest ransomware attacks of 2020 so far, spending on everything from rebuilding networks and restoring backups to paying the hackers ransom. Let's see, municipal governments. San Miguel County, New Mexico, cost them $250,000. Let's see, what about this guy? Florence, Alabama. Recovery and mitigation costs $291,000. A Windows 10 system in the IT environment in Florence, Alabama, was commandeered by a ransomware gang, with hackers gaining a foothold in the city's network. Okay, that's let's see. Next, Tillamook County, Oregon, ransomware attack took down Tillamook's county server and internal computer systems, website, phone systems, and email networks. Let's see. That's an ad. Grubman, Shire, Isolates, and Sachs. That cost them $365,000. CPI, Communications and Power Industries, a domain admin with the highest level of privileges on the network of California-based Communications and Power Industries, clicked on a malicious link in mid-January while logging in, triggering a file-encrypted malware, TechCrunch reported in March. Let's see. University of California, San Francisco. You couldn't expect Trump to protect them. TravelX, 2.3 million. A New Year's Eve ransomware attack crippled TravelX, forcing the world's largest chain of money exchange shops to take down their internal networks. Redcar and Cleveland Borough Council, somewhere between 13.6 million and 22.2 million for that one. Cognizant publicly admitted April 18th that its network was infected with Maze ransomware, which ended up encrypting servers and taking out some of the company's network. The New Jersey-based company, $50 to $70 million for that one. ISS World, that's in Denmark. That's later. That's the last one. Yeah, it didn't happen. You know, the big one, 50 million, 70 million in a company in New Jersey. Whatever.
But it really screams innocent when we say we're prepping for war because you asked a simple question that everyone in the world would want to know. These guys are not reasonable players. They're not decent players. And elevating something to...
You tell them, Don Jr., tell them they're not... You tell China. Wag your finger, maybe. Perhaps. That would do it. They're not decent players. Okay.
Clear war for finding out something that everyone in the world would like to figure out is not a reasonable reaction that people who are innocent have.
I see. Oh, you mean like so those reports about your dad possibly launching a nuclear attack at one point against China because he'd lost the election. Like your dad wasn't being reasonable.
Not what innocent people do. That's what people that know they are guilty do.
Okay. Oh, I see. So people who lash out and threaten, extraordinary measures about minor things when they're accused of things are not decent players and are very possibly, under your estimation, guilty. Noted. We'll keep that in mind as the subpoenas continue to be doled out.
Why would you not want to investigate the origins of COVID if, in fact,
I don't know. Why didn't your dad investigate them? Again, let's see. In this particular instance, Biden, COVID origin study. This is May. Biden orders review of COVID origins as lab leak. Hi, buddy. Chip came back in. Hold on. Let me see if I can say hi to him. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Speaking of lab leak. Hi. What you doing, Puddin'? What you doing? What are you doing? Hey, hi. You want to say hi? You just sneak into my office? You just sneak in? Are you just sneaking in to say hello? Do you want to say hi to everybody? Do you want to say hi? Hello. Yeah, there you go. You can say hi. All right. Okay. All right. Are you stinky right now? Did you just come down to go to the bathroom? Is that what happened? Yeah. Hi, buddy. Hi. How are you? You okay? Now he's purring. This little guy. You can't walk across the desk. You'll shut everything down. Sorry, stinker. Sorry, stinker. You give a hug? You give a kiss? No? You give him kisses right now? Hey. There he is. Okay. Well, no. Here, I'll let you down. There you go. Hoop. He's just going to wander around till I'm done with the show. He knows I'm late. He's like, hey, aren't we supposed to be petting right now? You should be done and petting. So, there we go. Biden orders review of COVID origins. This is in May of 2021. This is not something he promised on the campaign trail. And then if you'll recall, August 24th, Biden to receive classified report on the origins of COVID-19. It's been 90 days since he ordered a review of the origins of it. And then, which he did. And then they were split on it. CNBC said they were split in the report. Don't attack my wig, silly boy. Biden reportedly receives inconclusive report. That was what they were saying. And then they've actually he's asked him to go back and complete it. But, this all happened during the Biden administration. This is not something Trump had the ability to do when he was president of the United States of America.
Have nothing to hide. It literally tells you all you need to know. And whether Fauci was on the payroll or whatever it was, or whether he's just perhaps incompetent, that he was able to take the China talking points and run with them as though they were the gospel. And then the media willingly...
Your dad ran with the talking point. That they were handling everything professionally. Hold on. Do we just have to jump around on this? Let's see. Every time Trump praised China COVID response. Something like that, right? It's Business Insider.
You trust that we're going to know everything we need to know from China?
I do. I have a great relationship with President Xi. We're working very closely with China and other countries, and we think it's going to have a very good ending for us. We're working with China, just so you know, and other countries very, very closely, so it doesn't get out of hand. We are coordinating with the Chinese government and working closely together. No, China's working very hard. We're working with them. You know, we just sent some of our best people over the World Health Organization.
Do you see the data China has been sharing with the United States has been helpful?
I think it has been helpful. We've been working very much with China.
Okay, by
I
the way,
wish they could have told us earlier
Dr. Burke's nodding in the background.
about what was going on inside. We didn't know about it until it started coming out publicly. China was very secretive, okay? Very, very secretive. And that's unfortunate. But I'm a little upset
Yeah, you're a gullible asshole.
with China. I'll be honest with you. They should have told us about this. And I did ask them whether or not we could send some people in. They didn't want that, WHO. But the fact is that I have heard for years that that is very much biased toward China.
They said that some of our soldiers caused the problem. We're saying, what soldiers? What are you talking about?
Russia, Iran, and China are going through a sophisticated disinformation campaign, essentially blaming us.
Every country does it, but they build it up into some. We handle that, and they probably handle it, but countries do that.
As to whether or not they're
Just gibberish. Just friggin' gibberish. For the love of God, wait, hold on. For the love of God, don't do that. Trump's HHS secretary begged him not to praise the Chinese president's pandemic response on Twitter, book says. Former President Donald Trump's secretary of the Department of Health and Human Services desperately tried to stop him from tweeting praise of Chinese President Xi Jinping's pandemic response in January 2020. According to the nightmare scenario inside the Trump administration's response to the pandemic that changed the world and changed history by Washington Post Damian Paletta and Yasmin Abudaleb. At the time, the coronavirus had gained a foothold in the U.S., and Trump's officials were trying to impress upon him the gravity of the situation. Mr. President, this is really bad. This is getting really bad in China, and this is coming to us. Trump then asked if China was cooperating with the U.S. to combat the spread of the virus. Azar said China was cooperating to some extent, but added it wasn't nearly enough. He said the U.S. needed to put pressure on the Chinese government to force it to do more and allow officials from the Center for Disease Control and Prevention to monitor the situation on the ground. At that point, Trump thought out loud, I'm going to put out a tweet praising Xi, the book says. Azar immediately responded, for the love of God, don't do that. But Trump ignored the plea. He was fresh off of a trade deal with China that he believed would boost his political support in the Midwest and thought it would be smart to tip his hat to Xi, the book says. Then Trump refused to cave. Azar left the office and then sprinted across the West Wing trying to outrun President Trump's tweet, according to the book. He appealed to White House National Security Advisor Robert O'Brien, said, Robert, you got to stop this. You can't let him tweet praising President Xi. It's premature. It's not accurate. We can't do this. By the way, that's also when he was replaced as the head of the coronavirus task force by Mike Pence.
Implicitly did the same to hurt Trump. I think this tells us all we need to know. So we should be watching for this, guys. We should be watching because this is exactly what's happening.
You know what it means. Like, I mean, nothing could be clearer. What?
I think this tells us all we need to know. So we should be watching for this, guys. We should be watching because this is exactly what's happening. The Biden administration has been weak on our adversaries. That's why you see what's going on in the Middle East.
If they've been weak on our adversaries, then why does Russia feel the need to threaten us with nukes? And in a world of proportional response, one would think that Trump literally, gave away the barn, and Biden is actually responding in a way that's scaring China to the level where they're thinking of responding with nuclear threats.
Why they're hacking our pipelines. That's why they're shutting down our meat processing plants.
Yeah, China didn't do that. Those weren't Chinese groups.
No, they can get away with it because there's going to be a weak response from the Democrats and Joe Biden.
No, there isn't. You just said, we finally asked where it came from. That didn't happen until a Democrat was president.
They've gotten used to that, folks. This is what those guys do.
Gotten used to, again, this is very weird. First, he admits that we just recently asked about the origin of it for real. We actually have a task force set up. We have intelligence gathering information on it. They literally sent people over there. They were rejected by the Chinese. There's a lot of diplomatic pressure. There's a lot of intelligence stuff going around. and they're trying through multiple sources to try and find out the details on this. China has destroyed a ton of information around this. The Biden administration knows this and is pressing this point, and that's why China's reacting with this like over-the-top nuclear, table slam. And this is supposed to be indicative of Democrats are weak?
Okay? When they want an intense showdown because we ask a simple question, which Donald Trump seems to have been right about, or at least was right.
Why didn't he ask about it then? He said it, he mentioned it later after he'd given them the benefit of the doubt for, 12 months?
That it was
after he lost the election, then suddenly it was an attack on him.
Plausible argument that it originated in this lab and from China.
There is no way proportional nukes make sense. Yeah, if us asking them about this causes them to respond with the potential for nukes, obviously the question's pretty goddamn scary to them.
This kind of intense showdown does not give me the warm and fuzzies about China.
Well, in all fairness, though, a rail of Coke and a gin fizz does, and that's, Okay, are you digging around back there, little man? I hear him behind my green screen.
I ever had it, but the morons in D.C. who are naive about it, maybe this wakes them up too. Again, Republicans, if you're watching, you better be calling for an inquiry into this stuff, into Fauci, into China, and we better get to the bottom of it, because this is not a natural response to.
Well, no, obviously last year they didn't have this response because your dad just gave them a bunch of beef and corn and soybeans and said, see you next year in the middle of this thing, even though you think it was a bioweapon attack, which is still a point worth debating, obviously. But if it was, your dad was president during the worst bioweapon attack against the United States in our history. Or any history that I'm aware of.
Wanting to answer questions that everyone in the world wants to know. Let's get to the bottom of it. And if you don't,
let's get to the bottom of it. Now that Biden's in office, it probably will get done.
Want to? You're hiding something yourself, in my opinion.
Well, if I don't want to, what do I have to do with it? I have my own personal feelings about it, but I don't have access to that lab. I've been to Hubei province, but I've never been to Wuhan. What do you want? That's the picture. You're going with that? Yeah. I'm just saying, if you're going to use the fire glow effect, you got to dial it back a little bit, or you can't see any of the underlying color, and it just looks like your name is made out of lava, and no one thinks that.